Probably a lot. Or maybe not much. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Are you deciding how
Says
exciting it
100,
is?
but I might need to reload it.
So, first things
Yo.
first. My internet's been acting weird, and the last EFAP we did got split in two because of it. I am going to say
Split and
now,
twain.
there's a good chance, because it actually fucked up about 10 minutes before we started this call, that my internet will do it again. All it means is you have to wait for 10 minutes before I come back, and then I'll just reset the stream and reset everything. And then the final
Don't leave,
version
we'll be back
will
online.
have all of that awfulness cut right out of it. So, no problems. We were going to start up, but there's a certain fluttering frog alien birdlum who didn't manage to make it in time. We're going to have to wait. Well, no, we already did wait. We'll talk a little bit about some things, some bits and bobs, and then if he's still not here, we'll probably just get started. I think he might be having to sleep. He might have crashed his car. He might have got taxes to do. There's just so many things humans get up to that he could be involved in.
Yeah, he might have died. I hope not, though.
But yes, well, I guess there's no reason not to do anything else other than hang on. Let me just
hang on.
Just making sure.
While I'm too excited. We got so many. So we have so much to do. I'm all a Twitter. I'm trembling.
You are a Twitter?
I'm a Twitter.
Good lord, man, you need to sort that out. I wouldn't want to be a Twitter, would you?
I'm a X.
Oh.
I'm X.
You evolved.
There you go.
Or devolved.
I've evolved. I've devolved.
All
I've
right.
absolutely devolved.
Why don't we start with saying welcome to EFAP episode 270. Welcome, returning guest, PatricianTV. How do you do?
I'm good. Thank you.
And welcome, brand new guest, Creetosis. Hello, sir.
Hello.
What are you?
Is he a bird?
Is that a bird? It's kind of like a kobold or a gremlin creature or
yeah, it's a bit gremlinish. Yeah, it's a goat.
It's a goat.
That's a goat.
That's a goat.
All right, noted.
All right, okay.
And Patrician, you're some kind of Lovecraftian monster that's made it into our dimension vaguely, right?
Yes, I'm an actual NPC that has invaded your world.
Oh my goodness, you'll fit right in. That used to be a scary thing to say, but
yeah. So we've brought you lads on today because you've kind of been lying to the entire internet. It's about time we understand how
we're here
and
to
why.
bring you to justice to answer for your crimes
in the court of
truth.
EFAP. I need to bang a gavel.
I need a gavel.
Pretend I have one. I need a sound effect for it.
Fringy normally has it, but he's
he's usually the guy who brings the gavel. So Starfield's a video game. There's people involved with creating it. You guys made your little videos lying to the whole world, and someone's called you out for it. And I was made aware of such things because we had recently spoken to you, and I was like, oh my god, we've had a monster on the podcast. Wouldn't be the first time. So we have to put things in order to get rid of such things, and so we thought we'd bring you on and publicly execute you, if that's cool.
Oh, fair enough.
Mm-hmm. And what better way to do it than to watch the video and watch you get destroyed, basically. But I thought first of all we'd hand it off to either of you to give any kind of preamble context that you might want to give, even going back as far as what even Starfield is. It's really completely up to you.
What even Starfield is?
Mm-hmm.
Just call this stream that. What even Starfield is?
It's
definitely a good disappointment, but that implies expectations.
Hey,
Starfield was the hit 2023 Xbox Game of the Year by Bethesda.
True.
Wow.
Yes, all the Sony ponies are
or beefs as they get called by these kids.
They're saying that Spider-Man 2 should have been the Xbox Game of the Year, but I don't know about that.
Dude, the Spider-Man fans have turned on that game. Like the discussion's been fascinating over time. They've given up on it now. They've gone from saying it was like the greatest thing ever to like, it came out.
But what I'll say about Starfield is that it is our little world that we've been splashing about in, myself, probably about 5 years now. I'm not sure how long Creetosis has been playing in this ballpark, but
you're in early access.
Because Starfield was a new game, our discourse was introduced to a broader population. And some people were rather surprised. Before my Starfield video, there was an air of people not being at all interested in the developers that were responsible for what many would agree is a downward trajectory for their games. But after my video, there seems to be a lot more interest in the people who make these games.
That would be to say that Starfield seems to be sort of opening a lot of eyes as games like, not that Fallout 4 had a great reception on its launch, but especially since we are, what, 12 years now? 12 essential years after Skyrim is out, and so, people looking back on that, the discourse having evolved
Well,
over time and
that's what I want to emphasize is that we're coming from the Bethesda community, and these are things that we've been talking about for a long time. Never Knows Best has covered Bethesda games before, but I wouldn't necessarily say that he's a part of our community or a part of this discourse.
Well, in games of this scale, a lot of people are just going to be talking about them. Bethesda does have their own, their big chunk of the gaming space. Their
Hmm.
games do sell a lot. It's kind of like Call of Duty or things of that nature, where they're too big to sort of have their own community, so to speak. It's a bit broad. I mean, obviously there are communities, but not in I guess not in an intimate and, I guess, small scale sense like you would get from. Like you could say, yeah, like Deep Rock Galactic has a, maybe a community, or
Hmm.
or Factorio has a community, but it's just too
This is a
broad for
video.
that, I think.
Don't you worry about that. Just sign up.
That's right. There he is, the villain.
I do love that he starts with the man himself. He's looking good though.
What's on it? He is looking good. What's that on his wrist?
He has a few tattoos. He's
Scorpion.
No,
yeah,
the
no, he's
I mean
wearing
the other.
yeah,
The thing
he's got bangles and a
I know
watch.
what a scorpion is.
He's
alright?
copying Todd's style because Todd also does the bracelets on the right arm, watch on the left arm approach. It just seems to
Bracelet on
be
the right. What is the
I don't know
bracelet
if it's
of?
I don't know
Is
if
it
it's a DC thing or what, but
I wonder what the scorpion. Maybe it's reference to how his games are cancer. Fuck. Scorpio. I
Yeah,
thought
it looks like
wrong
Scorpio. You can see a
arthropod.
line through it. So it's probably the constellation.
Constellation, like Starfield, the faction in
Mm,
Starfield.
Oh god, and me now.
Wow, dang! And the watch
figured
is
it out.
also a reference to how the times he got away with it, I guess.
Yeah. Well,
Well-
the funny thing about Emil, and I want to say this early on, is that I don't dislike the guy.
It's hard to.
I
It's like
actually,
kind of
yeah, no,
Todd.
he's kind of Tim and Todd. They're both lovable, but for different reasons. Todd is like this super charismatic, has an answer for everything kind of guy. Emil is a more kind of just goofy. You listen to him talk. He's got all these anecdotes. He trips over his own words. I can see why people, you know, are sympathetic towards the guy. Don't necessarily like the games that either of them make, but um Emil has been like a perpetual font of hilarity when it comes to the streams I do and the videos I make, just because he's just kind of a wacky guy.
Well, all right then.
Why don't you, just to catch people up to speed who don't know, who is this man on the screen?
This is Emil Pagliarulo. He is the lead designer at Bethesda, Maryland. They are the main branch of Bethesda that has made the Elder Scrolls and Fallout games. And he has held a senior title for since Fallout 3. So quite a while that he's been making the big decisions. And he's probably had a hand in making one of your favorite games, although to clarify, he was not in charge of making Skyrim. He was just a senior designer. Still important, still an influential figure on that project, but not necessarily in charge. And I think that's why Skyrim fared better than the Fallout games and Starfield.
All right.
His relevance is that I talk about him in my Starfield video, basically. Which that's nothing new. I've talked about him in my Skyrim video. I've talked about him in my Oblivion video. Like I said, he gets around in the Bethesda discourse these days.
Well, I'm personally invested in all of this because gaming wars between analyzing is downright nostalgic for me. That's almost where I got my first set of videos that people cared about. Was the big old fight I had with H Bomber Guy about Dark Souls 2, and everyone calls each other liars, deceivers, manipulators. You take things out of context, and you know what's funny as well is back when I made those, I was like, man, it would suck if I only picked like particular parts and then they did the thing of you took me out of context. I was like, I'll just respond to the entire thing, which you know, some people don't recommend. But hey, you know, you guys chose to make response videos to this video in question. Those are linked in the description for anybody who is interested. They'll be more specific and I guess addressing with a fine-tooth point of exactly
Well,
where you want to
actually,
go.
my video was designed just to respond to the most serious and unironic parts of this video. Spoilers for later. I decided to leave a lot of the response to this stream, actually.
Wow.
Well, this is the place to do it because we'll be here all
Yeah, this
damn
is
day, and
well, that's the
what we
thing is, I didn't want to spend, 8 weeks crafting up this huge point by point response, and part of that was a theory I have about this video, but I still think it's too early
Well, all right.
to
There's that hook.
Is there anything else you guys would like mentioned before we start this up?
why doesn't Creetosis introduce his show in relation with Emil?
All right.
Show. We don't really talk about him on the streams I do, but I did find out about the speech he did at the Danish convention, or not convention, games conference, whatever. And when I was doing my Fallout 4 analysis, I felt like it was very revealing as to why everything was the way it was. Uh, it's kind of like seeing a car crash and you realize, oh, the wheels fell off. It's like, okay, that explains it.
You can learn a
Or
lot about games and like a lot of the exploit. We get this with movies when we look at director and writer interviews. I mean, with games, it's the same way. When you get people talking about the process and the ideas and things, it really sheds a lot of light on why things are the way that they are.
well, something I like about doing it on this platform is that you guys are more film people, and film people have a bit more of a mature conversation when it comes to talking about the creative people behind the scenes. I know it's funny, but
Right? Yeah,
when you
yeah.
compare it to the gaming discourse, I mean, I can't tell you the number of Bethesda videos I've seen that just blanket blame Todd Howard, they'll use his face and what have you. They don't scratch the surface any deeper. Gaming
Yeah, Todd's
discourse
the
is
man in
still
front. It's
very
his fault, obviously.
very much focused on just studio naming and studio shaming. Like, there's still people who believe that a Fallout New Vegas 2 would be good because now Microsoft owns Obsidian, despite the fact that most of the pivotal people that would be necessary to make a Fallout New Vegas 2 good are no longer with the company.
I mean, that's the way a lot of companies
I don't
now,
even.
Dice, Arcane, all that stuff.
If you're not familiar with the greatest highlights of what we've covered, because I totally understand what you're saying, but sometimes I just wonder is like we have the exact same problems, if not worse. We've come across people who literally say in relation to like criticism, what if you pretend the thing is what you like and then maybe you'll enjoy it? And that's not that
Well,
wasn't that's not
that
said
sounds
as
a bit
kind of clowdery.
disingenuous.
It sounds
I
it,
think
doesn't
I would
it? It
agree,
sounds like
though.
that, doesn't it? But it
Yeah,
ain't.
it sounds bad faith to lie about my opinion just for the sake of enjoying something that you enjoy.
Well, he wants you to lie to yourself about what you're seeing. That's you just don't hear that from many people. But hey, it's not even the that's the tip of the iceberg for the kind of quotes we've come across. Well, and the kind of attitudes we've come across. Because it's interesting you said like, oh, they'll bottle it down to like one person or one studio. We perpetually have covered so many people who try to point out what is wrong with the MCU or Star Wars, and they'll always come up with like crazy conspiracy theories about like specific reasons for why it may be falling apart, but none of them ever really want to settle on, oh, it's like written like shit. Which could be like a fundamental argument, but there's like this thing in the film essay community that you want to try and present a point within 10 to 20 minutes that's inspired and that no one's come up with before. That's one of the things that they'll do.
Film video essays are a plague upon YouTube.
Yes, which I've said before, but that's kind of the origin of EFAP was the I fucking like I lost my mind watching video essays because I just thought they were so crap from a lot of like the best quote unquote ones, and gaming was no exception as well. But you know, TV shows, films, etc. I was quite spicy back in when I was making the DS2 videos. I remember I had like a selection of YouTubers on screen that many people loved, and I was just like, they're all shit, damn it. Like,
That was
we
the
ever
same
actually
thing.
listen to their words?
That was the same thing with my Skyrim stream series. I criticized quite a few people that people like, and the interesting pathology behind it was that they were always down to do the criticism thing until their favorite YouTuber came up in the discourse. And just the other day, I described that stream series as kind of a filter process because the people that are in our community that are cool came out of that becoming friends with us. Indigo Gaming, Private Sessions, Creetosis, these creators that did, good to decent Skyrim videos, but got criticized and took it on the nose as opposed to a few individuals who have held grudges ever since.
That's
Uh,
the same thing's
I
happened with
was about to
us.
say,
Yeah,
it's so weird hearing that from
mhm.
you, because, yeah, we've, almost every time a creator reaches out to us after we've covered them, it ends up going completely fine and well. Maybe one time, 2 times not, but yeah, the aspect, because it's funny you mentioned Dio Gaming, we've had him on a bunch of times.
yeah. See him in your
I'd like to
chat.
say we have
He's a good guy. I've been on his show before. Fully recommend. He takes things in stride.
I like to think we've fostered a wonderful little network filled with all kinds of people from all kinds of places, because really, we just like having a chat, figuring things out. But,
Absolutely.
you know,
Well,
all kinds of...
that's the sad part of this is you can't have discourse if you don't try to contact the other side.
I don't even... Well, I guess, yeah, like, the way you talking about, like, the nature of how to do this in the most ethical way possible, critique or...
I would say just more so. This is fine that you don't contact people and all that. I don't contact people before I cover them on streams or when I used to do that. It's just more so like trying to do some bridge building after the fact.
Sure. I think a lot of people as well, unfortunately, on the internet assume hostility hardcore because a lot of the internet is just fucking hostile if you're outside of your own
Mhm.
relative bubbles. Little
A lot of people
patience
just
and
want
all that.
blood,
Yeah, and
which
I
is
wasn't always
understandable, and
I
sometimes
wasn't
it's
always the
warranted.
nicest person. I certainly understand having a bit of resentment towards me, but you know, I wasn't nice to Indigo, and we certainly have patched things up and come to an understanding of what the problems with his video were. Um, he called me after the stream and wanted to sit down and figure out what exactly had gone wrong. There was a technical error he had in his video that he wanted to address.
Mm-hmm.
So just a generally stand-up guy.
Yeah, that's cool. And the reverse, has the reverse ever happened to you? Have you ever been harshly criticized and ended up being friends with someone for it?
Um, Not that I recall, there's not a lot of people that have taken swings at me. I think people find my video topics a bit daunting to try to respond to, or not necessarily important to respond to. Um,
I mean, I've got the same. If people see it as I do it on purpose as a shield, they're like, he makes his videos so
mhm,
long so that no one would respond to them. I was like, no.
Because the idea of just going through a long video and picking out a few things specifically to talk
Yeah.
about is just unheard of to people, apparently.
Well, and it's funny because Jay did a video on half of my Black Panther video, right? I think it was half,
mhm.
and slaughtered me. But then we chatted and had a big old fun time. And you know, it would be nicer if the world worked that way. But you don't always get what you want. Am I right, guys?
Oh, you actually that's funny that you mentioned that. I thought of one. Creetosis's co-hosts called me out once upon a time for some takes I had
Damn.
in my Discord server on Elden Ring.
Oof.
And that turned into like my psyop video, and um
Oh.
that didn't really turn into a positive relationship, but we don't hate each other.
It's like, we don't hate each other.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it worked out just fine. Yeah. Also, hi, Fringy.
Hi, Fringy.
I
Welcome to Every Frame a Pause.
Good morning.
We talk about it so you don't have to.
I hit off instead of snooze.
I saw
Oh no.
I saw a meme that was like the greatest gamble any human can ever commit is turning their alarm off and just resting their eyes for a little bit.
It is a bit of a gamble. It is, but 9 times out of 10 it works. But this time, I think my brain had like crossed wires. I'm like, I don't need to get up. It's Monday. Like, I think something happened, and then I was just like, wait, hold on, wait a minute.
Rain.
Yeah, sorry, but okay. So what did I?
Well, we've just done all of the preamble for this video, pretty much.
Okay.
So
Okay,
now
so
you're gonna have
it's
to use
not
context clues. You're gonna have to be like,
That's okay.
To
I'll
catch
figure
you
it
up,
out.
to catch you up, Starfield bad.
hmm.
Oh, well, I already knew that.
That's
But,
what this whole
okay,
stream
cool.
is about.
News.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, like I said, unless there's anything else, we can get started on the vid if you guys are interested in doing so.
Yes,
I think
I will
that's a good
bring I will
idea.
bring up my theory when he brings up his thesis statement, which should be in about 2 minutes.
Yes, we may jump to clips from other videos here and there, possibly. There is at least one that I want to do that you're aware of, but if there is anything else, you guys just let us know. Because this is a
Sure
wacky
thing.
video. Wacky video. Fun times. Not going to say it's a bad video,
Oh.
okay? Jeez.
No.
Are you gonna speed it up?
No.
He is a rather slow speaker, so
I don't think we ever speed up videos.
We've only ever sped up tonal. That was it. That was usually for games.
let's see how long you last. then.
Down. We have to.
We
slow
have
down
slowed
Movie
down
Bob.
before.
That's right.
No, wait,
We've
yeah.
gotta
Did we ever
slow down
speed up
Movie
anybody?
Bob.
We've only ever slowed down, right?
I cannot think of a single time that we've sped up somebody.
Slowed him.
No, chat. This is not pre-recorded.
Or is it?
That's right. We are. This is all live.
Hello,
What are you
chat
talking
member
about? Yes, it is.
117. They know who they are. Anyway, I'm gonna hit play now, if that's okay.
Go for it.
Okay.
Do it. Yeah.
This
Let's
is
do
gonna be
it.
exciting.
Video about a man accused of crimes he did not commit, and what the consequences.
I gotta stop already.
Oh.
Like-
What-
wait.
Accused of crimes he did not commit.
Can we play the clip?
This is a video about a man accused of
Crimes
crimes
he
he did not commit.
See, I think any reasonable person would be like, "This is a meme, right?"
International espionage.
He was never accused of a crime, but I suppose this could just be hyperbole. He was accused of a design decision. That's not
So-
a crime, and it can be stylistic in certain things, but I explain in my video why that stylistic decision would be a bad idea given the size of their organization and just how necessary it is for communication.
I'll tell you for free, okay? First impressions, I would have been like, yeah, he's obviously joking. But after seeing that clip from your thing that we will
Yeah.
show in the stream at some point, I'm inclined to believe this is 110% serious. He's,
I didn't make it this far in my first viewing before I decided that this was a shit post.
what, 3 seconds?
And what the consequences of those accusations can be.
Hey, Az.
This
He
is
created
not
Asmongold.
a video about Starfield, but Starfield.
So this is a complicated part of the discourse because divorcing this discussion from Starfield and Fallout 4 is a mistake because we're talking about the design decisions that inform those games. And so
Mhm.
the games are a piece of the evidence for why this guy is on trial, as he would say.
Okay.
It's like talking about a director and saying that their movies are not relevant.
Yeah, talking about Rian Johnson and not mentioning The Last Jedi.
Or everything he's ever fucking made, because they're
Yeah.
all atrocious. Except Brick.
That's-
That's the only one I haven't seen yet.
That's what you need to bear in mind, chat, is that he doesn't want us to talk about Starfield because if we did, his argument would be completely over because Starfield is a fucking mess.
Yeah, you're like crimes. What crimes? And you're like, this is the guy who like wrote Starfield. And you're like, oh.
But okay,
guilty.
listen,
Mhm.
good faith. Let's give him a chance to argue why
got all the
Starfield
faith.
isn't
That's right.
relevant.
Everyone's innocent until proven guilty of their crimes.
does play a role, and Starfield does matter to many people. Now, I think that everyone should be able to express whatever opinion they have about a game.
Oh, it's a
Thank
nice
you.
guy.
I'm
That
glad he
guy,
said
this
that
guy, I
because
like him.
I was
This
for a
never
second there. I was
that-
like, hang
yeah.
on a minute. He better not be
Yeah.
one of them opinion police.
A lot of Bethesda fans would not extend that courtesy. So I do thank you.
You're welcome to share your opinion if you agree with me. Oh.
Oh man, mostly negative. Oh.
Hmm.
It got
Struggling.
worse over time.
Yeah, it has
Recently,
got
it
has
worse.
gotten worse.
What happened?
I figure it's probably the hype ward off. Is that a big
I
one, guess?
my personal theory is that people are leaving negative reviews because they are responding to negative reviews, and so they want to be in on that action. They want to see the response they get.
Hmm.
Okay.
Because I
Very
mean, I would
well.
agree, it's not a fucking, a 3 out of 10, 30% on Steam. It should not be that low. But I do think that some of it too
That's
is
just a
just that,
percentage that are positive. The reviews that are positive.
yeah,
Better or worse than Lord of Ring Golem?
better, absolutely. I mean,
Just
it's
to
a
be
it's a
clear,
functional video game.
Lord of Ring Gollum has brought me
Great joy.
immeasurable joy.
Yeah,
I've
that
never
is true.
laughed more at an EFAP than watching you and Az in Metal play that video game. And unironically, my face hurt.
Well,
My eyes.
isn't that the dichotomy? Lord of Ring Gollum is a fun game to watch people play. Starfield is a very boring game to watch people play. There's a documented trend of Bethesda channels just having their views drop off because of Starfield coverage.
Damn. Fun people.
Yeah, what do you
fun,
comment on?
fun game to watch people review, right?
Potentially. I
Or-
sure do
well,
like these guys
there were a lot of
talking
bad
about
ones.
it.
I guess yeah, it depends
Well.
on the reviewer.
That's just YouTube. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot
It
of
depends on
reviews
if they
just
got an
suck.
early copy.
Ooh, yeah. They don't want to.
That was
They know
actually a
which side
part
of
of
the bread they're buttered on.
That was actually a part of my video that I cut out for being too complicated to edit and would have caused me too much trouble. So it's funny that I'm in trouble for this and not for some of the things I would have said.
Interesting.
Holding and expressing different opinions is a good thing. In fact, I would like to believe that in many ways my entire channel champions this idea. And so, if
Wait,
you
hang
hate
on. He's got a video called Dark Souls is underrated.
First Dark
Underrated?
Souls?
Really?
No, it isn't.
No,
fact,
no,
I would
It's
it
the
like to
most
isn't.
believe that in
rated
many
game
ways my
ever.
entire channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. How is Dark Souls
There's-
underrated?
Dark Souls is not underrated. That's like saying Ocarina of Time is underrated. It's
Yeah,
like
what the fuck?
one of the quintessential like best games of all time in the view of most people.
Yeah, Dark Souls is
Well,
usually
that-
on those lists.
That
Yeah.
kind of gets into, I can't speak to that video in particular, but there's a certain air of saying things that aren't necessarily true or he doesn't necessarily believe to make a point.
Oh, like the video
Hmm.
itself might be that he says it is
Mhm.
overrated, but the title's contextualized in such a way that you're like, oh.
Well, I remember one of his Elden Ring criticisms was that there were guides about the game made.
What?
Like that was one of his criticisms of the game.
Well, it's not the game's fault.
Game didn't do nothing.
I mean,
Yeah.
that happens to literally every single game that's made.
Maybe he's gonna be as long as he's consistent with that.
We're
he's
not getting like
any
a
game that
Cinema
has a guide
Sins
is shit.
territory, are we? Where you're gonna be like, oh, well, that might have been a joke, though. Like, we're not there, right?
That's always the mark of a good YouTuber is not being able to tell which of their statements are jokes and which are earnest.
Hey,
See, I
that
don't
actually
know.
describes me. I told quite frequently nobody understands my deadpan expression.
You don't have an
I-
expression.
So true.
I don't know if this is a case like that or not either, because I've seen some people defending a certain claim about Patrician, about a certain line he used in his video. Essentially, I don't want to spoil it, never said something, and people have defended it as both a joke and not a joke. So, who knows?
That's always fun.
Well, that's the complicated thing is if you don't operate on the level and just like remove all of this disingenuous stuff from it. We have to take it in good faith that you're telling the truth, that you're not joking all the time, or that you're not being hyperbolic.
Yeah, we don't want to live in everything a sarcasm or ironic hell world where everything has to be second guessed and no discourse can take place and no one's earnest.
The truth is implied.
Good lord, what a deep
Oh.
cut.
Yeah,
Remind me
that
of
is a
such
deep cut.
pain. Which, to be fair, you were referencing Joseph Addison earlier as like a positive. What's your take on him as a media critic?
I would certainly say he's an inspiration of mine. I would say that even in the parts that I would disagree with Joseph Anderson, at least he says something that can be disagreed with compared to a lot of YouTubers that say nothing.
I mean, him saying that Soma isn't a horror game, that was pretty wild.
Well, at least you can dig into that and disagree with it.
That's a nice thing to say.
I that's true, but it is an incredibly absurd.
Yeah,
observation.
I don't have strong feelings on it. I like his Bethesda coverage. He was one of the formative channels, I would say, that inspired me. But there were many channels that have inspired me. I'm not just a Joseph Anderson clone.
I didn't
You are
even think
not,
about
yes.
Joseph Anderson when I was seeing your stuff.
Hmm.
And to be fair, I've said before, I don't think like Joseph Anderson's useless or anything. It's just that I have very personal reasons to dislike him because of what he did to Soma, or rather, because I have a very personal bias. But you know, I've still recommended videos from him in the past because I do think that he's
Like
okay.
the subjectivity is implied video. That was one of your favorites.
Fucking hell.
I think he doesn't take
I remember
criticism
that one.
well. I think he lashes out whenever he's
Oh, he
criticized.
hates me. He hates me almost as much as Just Right hates me.
That is unfortunate. That is one of those bridges I think I would like to see built one day.
Oh, the only way that would ever happen is if someone who he's friends with is friends with me. That's the only way that would work. Because the fact is, it would be the chillest conversation ever. And the it's kind of ironic as well because we were talking about this broadly, and then we talk about it with this like video, and that behind all of it is a desire, I assume, from everyone here to not only have sort of chill bridges to discuss, but to also get down to the bottom of it, to figure out what the fuck's going on with everything that we're talking about, right? Like, all of it usually is that. Like, how good is Soma? How good is DS2? How good is Starfield? And why is Starfield the way it is? That's like the underpinning of every single one of these crazy things that ends up happening. All the videos that get made.
Why is Starfield the way it is?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why is it like this? Why?
I was about to say,
Why are you the
why
way that
is
you
that?
are?
Well, and I've got no qualms about being wrong. Just the other day, had a former Bethesda dev reach out to me and give some context to things I've said in the past. Like, he gave some additional context to the claim that there was only one dungeon designer on Oblivion. It turns out that was actually true. The reason it's complicated is that the later dungeon designers joined late into the project, and the guy that had made everything up to that point basically quit. So I'm certainly willing to be wrong about that, and if there was an avenue that I could publish things that I've been wrong about over the years, I would certainly take it.
Well, let's start here, because you're pretty fucking wrong about this video game from what I
Yeah,
hear.
absolutely. I am here to flagellate myself about lying about this Emil Pagliarulo.
Champions this idea. And so, if you hate Starfield, I think that's okay.
Aw.
And if you
Thanks,
want to
man.
express your hatred of Starfield online, I also think that's okay.
Whatever. My resident
Really
never
says that.
my resident NeverKnowsBest expert has contacted me and told me that the Dark Souls title is in fact ironic.
Ah, there you go, okay.
Which, fun fact, my resident expert will actually be featured in this video.
Resident, do you have experts for all of the YouTubers?
I
you have
actually do.
dossiers on us.
There's
My EFAP
individuals.
expert.
There's individuals on my server that are fans of hating certain individuals and know everything about them, so I can just ask them.
You got any
I
EFAP
can
ones?
I have more
I'm sure you
fans than
will.
haters for you guys.
You have anyone
Well,
saying like,
to
why
be
the fuck
fair,
would you
the
go on
haters
that
are
show?
wrong.
They have
But,
bad experiences.
Thank you, NeverKnowsBest, for allowing us to have opinions.
I will say, I'm trying to be nice, but I hate intros like this to videos. They drive me nuts.
We've
like,
got
Well,
this
it's not
before.
necessary to say. It's
Yeah,
not necessary to
totally.
say because who is the contrary person that's going around saying, I don't think anybody else should have opinions but me.
Well,
what makes
I
you
think
want to make that
what's funny
video?
about it is it's the worst of both worlds. Because on the one hand, yeah, obviously, but on the other hand, yeah, come on though, there are some opinions that you probably think are really stupid that shouldn't be like out there. So
You just
but why do you even need to make this intro?
let's
Like,
make the
can we
video
just
where
get
you say at the
started?
beginning, if you have any opinion that deviates from mine in any way, shape, or form, you are not fucking welcome here. And by here I mean Earth. You're like, oh. I feel like everyone would be more entertained by that because this shit is just like I don't even know that I buy this
it's
yet.
Almost like the fact that you're signaling it so much inclines me to believe that you might actually be a little bit less tolerant to these kinds of opinions.
Yeah,
The
it's
fact that
definitely
you're
people
so
obsessed when you say
down to-
stuff like that.
Yeah, like, can we just get started? Like, yes, people have opinions and they should be entitled to them. Yeah, like, sure, obviously.
It's the preemptive, like the first thing I do in combat is raise my shield, regardless of context. where you're trying to get that safety that safety phrase in to be like, now guys, just so you know, it's okay to have opinions, because we've seen this all over the place. We've seen this many times from all kinds of different videos of all different sorts. Like it's like it's a criticism shield. I'm not saying you can't have opinions. In fact, I think you should be allowed to have opinions.
Well, it's like it's adjacent to the ultimate shield, which is, remember, this is just my opinion.
Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah.
It's
I already
it's
knew
all
that.
just subjective.
I already knew that it was your opinion. You're saying it, so yes.
Well, it is God, this is going back to like TFA part 1 now. It's just like, it's not you saying at the beginning of a bunch of retarded things that it's just your opinion doesn't make them not retarded or not criticizable.
Well, yeah, it's almost like baked into it is the notion that people shouldn't be allowed to really disagree with your opinions, that nobody should ever be particularly upset with an opinion you express, which is absurd.
Pretty much.
It's not a real shield. As opposed to what I guess you would actually be trying to invoke, which is like, I felt happy watching this movie, which is something that you can't like take that, which is true. You can't take away like how somebody felt about something at the time, like whatever their subjective experience with something is.
But we can try.
But again, it always gets brought up before arguments that are falsifiable are raised.
Well, maybe in this case,
Let
he's
him
going to
finish.
say a whole bunch
Let
of
him
stuff
cook.
that we're going to
Maybe he'll
agree with.
surprise us.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
going to let him cook. He's gonna
Yeah.
slow cook today. We're going to
Yeah.
put it right through.
And if you are disappointed in Starfield, Bethesda, or any other part of the gaming industry, then I think that's okay as well.
Then I
Thank
think
you.
you're normal.
Wow, I can even be disappointed in the industry.
I could be
That's a really
disappointed
bold
in you.
stance in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
But there are things which are not okay, no matter
Uh-oh.
what your opinion of a game might be. And it's those things that I want to focus on.
See, I would say this is very serious as an opening. Like, it feels very like we're not having fun today. We're doing something that needs to be addressed.
Mhm.
So
Sit
this
down,
video
class.
is not like my normal content. I will not be criticizing a game, but I will
Oh, it's rather unfortunate that he has the dislike add-on because this video did not land well.
Oh,
be
well,
talking about
so
games
far it's great.
criticism
So far, yeah, he told us
and
that we
about
can
some
have
of the
opinions.
things that people don't usually talk about, but
Ooh.
maybe should. Finally, this is not a video that I wanted to make.
No, he said the thing.
Oh, he did! Oh my god, he said the meme thing.
Thank you for
He-
your
all-
sacrifice, sir.
Oh,
This
if
is-
only he had dejectedly sat down, came from off screen and sat down in front of his camera, and then sighed.
No sigh.
I
I
really
said this to
wanna make
Fringy last
this
time we brought this up. The sigh is too far gone. They don't even do that anymore.
I think the dog, you're still
The
allowed to
dog
have
is
a
still
dog.
in, and the setting up the camera and coming on screen thing, everyone still does that.
No,
even
I
if it's
wonder
legit.
if you'd have a better shot if you had another animal, like if you had, I don't know, a goat or something. Like you sat
Mm.
down with your goat, and I'm like,
We're sitting down with
you're
our
my
goat.
support animal, buddy. Come on, let's
But see,
get through this.
Now you just
I
want to
do
see like
approve
the
of that.
Smiling Friends vision where it's just like Mr. Frog and he has his like Komodo dragon. It's just
Yeah, that'd be pretty. Komodo dragon is a very appropriate pet for Mr. Frog.
yeah, and it's just like eating shit, and he's just like because he's trying to do his apology.
See, I wasn't aware that this was a part of your bingo card. We completely flew past that statement when we watched when Private Sessions
can
and I
you-
did our initial screening.
How can you watch so much YouTube and not be aware of? I didn't want to make this video. That's
Well-
like the
Well, no, I'm aware of that. I it kind of just filters out, you know, like if you
Yeah,
if you work at
yeah.
a grocery
Kind of,
store, you
yeah.
filter out the pop music, yeah, because
It's like people who end
it's
their
so
sentences in
calorie deficient.
prepositions. You
Yeah.
just don't even think about it, and then you do it, and it annoys you.
Well,
I-
we wanted to get to the thesis statement.
Of course, it's just right from the YouTube playbook. I would have
Good
thought people
memes.
wouldn't include this in videos anymore because it's such a meme, but yeah, there you go.
It's a certified classic.
We'll see. We didn't know about it, so
But it is a video that needed to be made.
Oh, so are these opinions that shouldn't be allowed?
well, they're not. Listen, they're not opinions. They're
You
calls
can have
to action.
opinions unless you do, Internet roast Starfield director's arrogant statements.
So I wanted to draw attention to this earlier. Every element he puts on screen, he uses a drop shadow. He doesn't outline things. He uses a drop shadow. I think it's
Mhm.
interesting.
I like shadows if they're like shadows and they're a little bit blurred. around
Mhm.
the edges, and it's just to make sure, just to distinguish them from the image behind. But I don't like sharp drop shadows.
Mhm.
I
I just
Sorry.
prefer outlines. If you're trying to draw a visual distinction to an element, you should outline the entire thing.
I prefer outlines over sharp drop shadows.
So, yeah. So to go back to kind of Fringy's first thing that he said, I'm thinking with myself, like, is this too mean? And it's like, I don't know. I feel like this is something we should tolerate, right? Even from people like,
saying that they think that this guy is the writer quest designer for
Yes.
Starfield, right? Or okay, yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's harsh.
and I should say up front, as one of the primary focuses of this video, that I searched high and low through all of my stream transcripts for an example of me saying the words that Emil should be fired, and I could not find it.
Then why?
would I be curious to
Okay.
ask?
Even if you did, I think that is a totally fine statement to make.
Well,
Yeah,
I
I've
want
always
to know
been
from
I've always been
NeverKnowsBest,
team
is the statement
the
okay
motion.
only based on whether or not the information you're using to make that statement is true? You know, if Emil did a bunch of shit things and then everyone calls for his resignation, and it's true,
Is there an occasion where it's acceptable to say that somebody should be fired?
I
If
assume
a
you'd say
chef
yes.
shits in my burger, is it acceptable for me to say the chef should be fired?
Well, like, my guess is his point of view is that this is bad because it's built on information that's not true. And so this happening in
Yes.
general isn't actually, or rather in isolation, isn't the problem. It's the people are likely coming at it from the wrong information, which he can't even know.
Okay.
Okay, and so that's your
I
fault
mean,
then.
And I don't necessarily I don't disagree, because I don't think Emil should be fired. I don't think he's done anything to merit being fired. I think he should be demoted.
Okay.
He can keep his pay, but
But would you
that's not.
begrudge someone saying he should be fired?
Yes, because I don't think he's done anything severe enough to merit that.
I
Interesting.
wonder
Okay,
if
well,
the people
That's
who
interesting as the lead-in, because this
Yeah.
is about you, right? This
Well,
Yeah.
both of them.
yeah.
I'm not sure what Creetosis. What's your opinion? Fire or no?
I did
you
say in
send
my
him
video that
destitute
he
into the
probably should
streets
be
in the cold?
fired, but I don't care what they do with him as long as he's not
Mhm.
writing. That's my main thing. Just take the pen away from him. Don't
Yeah,
ban
yeah,
I've said
pens.
I've
If
Hey,
Brian
that
said
Johnson
sounds-
was demoted to key grip, then
Well, we said
that
it's
would,
okay
I
if
don't
he
even know what that
directs,
is,
just don't
but
let him write.
Don't let
yeah,
him write.
that
Yeah.
would be one thing, because he cannot write. The man cannot write. Keep this man away from words.
Yeah, but
He
the
cannot
problem
use
is
them responsibly.
he will never not be allowed to write at this point.
Well, and to be
He'll,
honest with you, as director, you're going to be writing somewhat, inevitably.
Yeah, that's true.
Even as editor, you'll be writing somewhat.
Mhm.
Mm. All right, well.
so. All opinions are okay, but some opinions are more okay than
Well,
others.
yeah, because these are opinions. Saying that you think that somebody should get fired is an opinion. It's harsh, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was
people
trying to
are
get
not-
at. Was it is harsh. It is mean.
Well, and people
but-
are not consistent with this. If it's a cop or a president or anything like that, it's they should be fired or worse. The discourse on that stuff is.
Mhm.
So people are
Well,
not
someone might
consistent
argue
with this.
the development of a game versus the engagement with law or politics. They're going to draw a line there probably. But I understand what you're saying, that everybody's going to have a line where they would think this is okay, and I'm sure he does too. The main thing I'm concerned with is that I assume his issue is that they're doing this based on bad information as opposed to it.
I presume that would be
Yes.
the case.
Today, we are going to talk about game development, game analysis,
Sorry.
YouTube, the internet, lies, how information spreads,
We're going to talk about lies. Fair enough.
Oh my god.
how stories evolve, human nature, justice, and other things.
Justice.
Oh, and other
Jesus.
things.
Can I just
Oh
say
my
as well,
God.
All that and
what
other
he
things.
classified as human nature is Starfield dev blames the players. I'm curious if he's what he's suggesting necessarily with that.
That
Is
his
it
that
just
his
human nature.
his 15-part Twitter response is just human nature.
I don't know if it just
Well, then
like
it's all
the
human
thing-
nature.
Oh, all okay in 2 hours.
all
Wow,
natural.
jeez, a lot amongst all this other stuff. God damn.
Yeah, no, this is a
potential we're in
slow
for.
cook. This is a slow boil.
Mhm. But I'm just saying that because I had a feeling that's what it was going to be, and it's like, well, then why isn't you guys making your videos human nature? Hmm.
Yeah.
Why
we
isn't
have
us
to
be?
agree.
Let's say we're wrong. Okay, let's say we're absolutely wrong.
You're wrong.
That's still a part of human nature.
Well, that's why I would throw the fuck out of. I don't give a shit. All of it's human nature. That doesn't mean anything to me,
Yeah.
you know.
Some
Like,
parts of human nature are shit.
well, it's just like, yeah, because we're all humans. So figures that we'd be doing some human nature-y things, but gonna want more than that.
There will be other things.
Ooh, and other things.
And other
Ooh.
things.
But if there
Yeah,
is
man.
one single part of this video that I would like people to walk away with, it is the importance of fact checking.
All right, so this is the thesis of his video. He not
Fact
only
check.
it is about fact checking, but it goes further.
To this end, I would like to invite anyone who wants to fact check what I'm about to say to do so.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so he
I thought
has
that was
invited
implied,
us
but
to do
alright.
this.
Here we
So
are.
that leads into my theory. I believe this video is a trap.
Ooh.
I believe that this video is full of hypocrisies and disingenuous arguments on purpose in order to make it difficult to respond to, and in order to make a weird point about this is how Emil felt. Doesn't it feel bad when I do it to you? That kind of thing.
Right, so the
There's
theory is that it's the joke's on you, I'm pretending to be retarded.
yes,
Like,
yes.
that's a winning strategy right there.
And I want people throughout this video to kind of take that into consideration because there's a lot of things where if you fact check the sources, because he gives an exhaustive bibliography of all these sources that he's using. If you fact check him, like that element he used about GDDs, the game design documents that was in his last slide, if you actually read the article, it's explaining why game design documents are important. It goes completely against what he says. If you
Okay.
fact check like any part of this video, you're gonna turn up something that's wrong. And so I view it as like a weird test to see if his audience is even like actually paying attention to what he's saying.
Or he's incompetent.
Because
I
this
yeah,
is
I mean,
something
either
that we
or.
see all
Either
the
or.
time. It's like a golden rule of EFAP where the
Yes.
subject's claims and evidence are almost always contradictory to their claims.
Well, my view is he fucks up in ways that can't be accidental. The example I gave was he uses like chronologically sequential examples that are increasingly ineffective as arguments. I don't think that you can do that accidentally, or it's a hell of a coincidence in conjunction with everything else that he does in this video.
I don't even know where to begin in terms of referencing the things that we've seen in the history of EFAP.
Mhm.
We've seen things you people wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
And it is the kind of shit where it's like, but they had the clip. Okay, you know what? I'll go with one. Do you remember when Rags was there? I can't remember if Fringy was, but we were covering Ralph the Movie Maker's Joker video.
Oh, that was.
There was like
I still remember that one. That was rough.
I want to say there was 6 of us or something, and as we were progressing through the video, the thought came up of like, is he deliberately sabotaging the film? Because
Jay was there, yeah. Jay.
He's saying, hang on.
Yeah.
So he's saying things that are just seem like outright lies, and like I think it took a while for a lot of us to turn to the point where we were like, I think he's just lying. I don't think this is incompetence. I think this is just lies. And Jay was the holdout. Jay was like, no, this is just accidental. This is a mistake. He just didn't realize he's missed some things. And then there was a clip that was played because he'd made a claim about a particular scene. Then he used the clip that would counter his own argument. And like Jay gave up. He's just like, this is lies. This is just lies.
I could be convinced if it wasn't for what he says at the end of Creetosis' section about like wanting Creetosis to feel how Emil felt.
Mm-hmm. Well,
on that point too, I know you guys
You-
have dealt with this like 1,000 times, but during my section, he does include a clip that disproves what he's saying about me.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
normal.
Yeah,
That's
the
normal.
problem is
There's
that
so many
that's
things.
normal. Yeah, this is like I said, that's like an EFAP golden rule. Like you could have a bingo card of just this. It's kind of nuts. I think one of the issues is that when people listen to these videos, they don't listen, they hear them. They don't actually think about the words and the thoughts that are being presented to them. They're extremely non-critical. And I think that a lot of YouTubers sort of fall into their own trap, and they get it's almost like a bizarre version of audience capture that's that's just like it's even hard to describe. It's like pure apathy, an apathy black hole that they suck themselves into somehow, and they don't do due diligence on things because people don't listen to them enough.
A little bit.
Well, I think I will keep track of who is on which side of this. Is it a shit post? Is he just wrong? Debate.
I am firmly in this is real for now.
All right.
Yeah, because I always go into videos thinking that it's not a meme.
Yeah, likewise.
I mean, I'll
You have
I'll
to
go further than
convince me
that.
that
I'm
it's
not
a
just
meme.
going off basic like good faith or neutrality. I'm going as far as saying in the first 2 minutes, I would argue in a sterile environment, this is a man who's taking all of this very seriously. And you know, if there's clues to reveal his trickery, I will change my opinion accordingly.
I think the biggest argument against my position is simply that it was made in about a month, and I don't think you can craft something this magnificent, uh, ironically, in just a month.
Um,
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. If you sit down and you really go at it, I think
Well,
some
see, I've
people are
done it
capable of
before.
great things.
I've done the disingenuous shitpost video thing before, and I barely got a 13-minute video done in less time than he had. So 2 hours and
Maybe
17
he's very
minutes.
talented at it.
Yeah, maybe he is
Could be,
talented.
yeah.
Maybe he's got an insane workflow.
Maybe this has
He's got
consumed
that
his
grind set.
life.
Yeah.
I
Well, it
believe
would explain why he's so mad if this is something that's been eating away at him.
it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's true.
To make this as easy as possible for you, I've included a list of all sources in the description, alongside relevant timestamps for videos I
I gotta complain. It's in my response too. He didn't archive anything, so half of these posts could disappear.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
reference, that I will
See,
do my
but
best to
that is something I would easily classify as just rookie mistake sort of thing. With
Oh,
From all-
absolutely. He makes
yeah.
several of those in terms of like approaching this as a commentary channel.
order chronologically according to when they're referenced. As someone who
That's
has
actually a very good point you said that, because that is the like with their manifestos, they won't archive, they'll just link to things that are very much weak to destruction in a sense.
spent the last week scrubbing through numerous videos, some of which are quite long. Hopefully, this will make the job
That's the
that
funny
I
part
expect
because he only watched 25% of my videos, so
25%.
That's all we needed. That's how bad your video was.
yeah.
so long
how
doing
bad it
recently.
was.
Easier for you. You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank
What
you.
a legend. I already feel so
see, this
invigorated.
is that's what I'm saying. If this is a test on if you're paying attention, I mean, he's provided the
I don't like
worksheet for you.
him scanning through all of this, by the way. I'd be like, that's a lot of effort for a troll post trap thing, especially like.
Well, it's also so like low effort, you know. It's not. There's not even like a standardized format to the line spacing.
That is true. That's odd.
But again, that could just come as the result of him doing it his way, not being more familiar with how to do it. You know.
Well, the final bibliography is much more thorough in terms of the timestamps it includes. So this is just a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
With that out of the way, let's begin.
That's some pet peeve shit for me. With that out of the way,
Yeah, he had like.
Well, listen, he doesn't want to do this.
let's begin. Like scrolling through all of that just took the wind out of him, you know. That was a tough one. So we're about to start the Reddit section.
Actually, we're starting the talk section. This part's
the talk
fine
section,
to,
okay.
With the most infamous speech in the history of game development.
All right.
That's a meme, right?
Never said that. Creetosis, have you ever said that?
No.
Last year, August, somewhere around in there, me and Private Sessions watched a GDC talk by the guy that basically over monetized Destiny 2, and it was like an instruction guide on how to do it, and he was emphatic in trying to get other people to do it.
Watching that.
Yeah,
have you Mauler Fringy, have you seen this? And I guess Creetosis, have you seen that? Did you see that talk by the guy?
I'll pull it up for
I don't
that.
It's fucking nuts. It's insane. It's like some of the most black pill shit.
Is that the one that's make players into payers?
No, it is.
I mean, in spirit, yes, and
it's the one where he goes
I
first.
may have seen clips from this.
It's featured in my video. It's first trust, then retention, then revenue.
Oh, I think, dude, I think I've seen clips of this thing from like a Jim Sterling video.
Yeah, no, it gets around for sure. I think I hate everything features in his Destiny 2 video.
Oh yeah, that might be how I saw it as well.
But yeah, so that's
that's
easily a talk that's worse. Another one would be the famous mobile game whale talk from like 2012, 2013.
The whale, yeah, I remember clips that related to that.
So, I mean, I know that he's being hyperbolic, but if he is implying that this is a stance that we have, no.
Well, so my take immediately from it would be that he's trying to say it's ironic. Like he's not saying this seriously. He's saying that this is the thing that defined everyone's takes on Starfield. This speech, hence making it so important in a sort of like a facetious way. He's not serious at all. He's saying it to make fun of everybody,
it's absolutely hyperbolic.
Which is fine. We'll see how it goes.
Default text in Premiere.
This story.
Leave
I
him
don't know, like,
alone, damn it.
it's an opportunity to do something nice as a YouTuber.
It's alright.
I'll allow it. He's doing it on purpose for irony or something.
It was made in 3 weeks. You know, he's got to cut corners somewhere.
Yeah.
That's not an excuse, damn it. It's easy. You just put text on a screen, do your dumbass sharp drop
Rags.
shadow.
Rags.
He already did the drop shadow.
No, I absolutely did it in my
relatively
Morrowind
often
video.
use, I relatively often use default if I ever want to put text in.
No one's free of sin.
As
Bring
have
it.
I.
Everybody does it, but I mean, it's just a sign of laziness, objectively. Like,
And
as
for
somebody that does it.
Not a sign of
mean,
laziness
it's
if you feel it
it's just-
satisfies
It's
your
just
goal.
the normal FUDs.
Well, yeah, I mean,
feel like
Yeah,
we
it's
could
fine.
do
It's
something.
fine if you want to use it, but I
It's
just
a
think that
normal sans serif font, so yeah.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
it,
like
but it is default.
But it is
It is
lazy
white
enough.
text on black screen.
Well, the cool
So,
thing to
it-
do
it
is
is just
download a
text
custom
element on a
font
blank
and
track.
to put it
Let
in
me-
that relates to the
I'll
video
put
or
it-
something. But
I'll put it this way: it's longer for him to find that string music, download it, and then put that into the video, and then clip it to the time he wants, than it is to just do the text.
Yeah.
But that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. I
Doesn't
love
sound
everyone.
like it's
everyone
fine.
Has, everyone
Sounds
can have their
like-
opinion. Everyone
like you're
has,
ripping
can have
into
their
all of
opinion.
us.
Sounds like it's not
Everyone can
okay.
have their
It's
own
true.
opinion.
It's
okay
true.
for people to have
I
opinions.
apologize. I apologize.
cats and dogs living with each other. That's what the world you want. Yeah, silence
and
the
goats
whole
and birds.
cast.
Story is as much about the journey as the destination. And so I think the best way
There
to
he
tell
is
it
again. More Asmongold stray rounds. I have no. Why would you include Asmongold in this? Because he had to know that he was going to respond poorly.
I don't.
Wait, you mean the
Well,
guy who
see-
made this video knew Asmongold would respond to this video poorly?
Probably, yeah. Why wouldn't he?
Honestly, I'm
I
not
don't-
familiar enough with Asmongold to know, like, what does he typically do with videos that call him out? Does he just go to his section and then go like,
Yeah, he
"Boo"?
just goes straight to his section. That's what the jail part is. He doesn't give a fuck about the topic or me or Creetosis or any of that. He just wants to know why he's catching stray rounds from all this. Which, if you're on Team Trap, could be an example of like he was burying the dislikes that he was going to
Team
get.
Trap has a different
with the-
connotation in these parts, just to be clear.
Well, he does have a pinned comment saying, "Oh, that's where all the dislikes are coming from." It's
Yeah,
Asmongold.
which
Well, that's
to be
just-
fair, he had a 60-40 like dislike ratio before Asmongold reacted.
Yes, that's
Like,
true.
don't even fucking
Well,
kid
that
us.
also just sounds like strategy for both of those as a YouTuber.
Yeah.
One, you put in Asmongold just to be like, they're famous YouTubers who can get people to be like, whoa, what's going on here? And to get people to go, hey, Asmongold, have you seen this? And then secondly, he'll have a back door for like, oh, it's disliked?
Yeah,
I guess
it was
we know
just
why
just
that's
Asmongold
happened.
fans.
Yeah.
is to take you along the path that I took to get here. Now, hopefully, if you're watching
Which was
this,
a shitty
you're at least
path and
somewhat
left parts
familiar with
out.
Starfield and its developer, Bethesda. But if not, the short version is that Bethesda are the makers of several popular RPGs, and their latest game, Starfield, left many people disappointed.
You could say that.
Something
Why would you? I mentioned this before when I was watching it with private sessions. Why would you include the article headline and not just the fucking quote itself? Because there's a quote that's floated around that says the same thing. I don't know why you would include the
I mean, it
article.
was-
Like, why
It
is
was a
Dan
Discord- it's a whole
Lipscomb
Discord
catching
post
strays
that
here?
normally refers to,
Yeah.
right? It was the Starfield Together.
Yeah,
the-
the Skyrim Together mod developer on Discord was talking about this issue.
Yeah, just have the Discord. That's what I know it from, because just the original. I just know it as the screenshot of that person's comments, not somebody else's headline referring to that thing. I would just
Yeah,
have the
that's
thing.
weird.
It's just a Discord post. You can just post it like a screenshot. You did it for the
Yeah,
for
because
the
now,
article, so you
now
can
I'm
just do
thinking
it for
about
the
how
real
you
thing.
would have, like, that means you would have searched for an article covering it and then snapped that instead of just the comment?
He probably just was
What is
linked
that?
the article somewhere and then was like, "Oh,
Well, maybe he
That's the
thinks that
extent
makes
of
it feel
curiosity.
more professional to have
More
an article
legitimate, yeah.
title. Yeah.
I guess posting Discord screenshots is bad form.
Of the
and,
person themselves, yeah. The person
Yeah.
themselves saying the thing is less
well,
professional.
he
than
saves the
someone else.
Discord screenshots for when he wants to criticize me. So
Oh.
Something else you might be familiar with is me.
Ah,
no, I'm not familiar with you.
I actually had zero knowledge of this person before, like, a couple days ago, so this is all very interesting for me.
I've only known of this person through their Skyrim video that Patrician covered.
Yes.
Oof,
His
so you're already
his
hyper
Skyrim-
biased, Rags. You're gonna have to
Well,
leave.
So the interesting story about that, the first reaction stream I did was NeverKnowsBest Oblivion video, and I was very positive towards that video. So when I was planning the Skyrim stream, I tactically placed a Skyrim video in a place where I knew it would be following up a really bad Skyrim video, and I was like, okay, this is going to redeem things. We're going to watch a good Skyrim video again, and then his Skyrim video just absolutely shit the bed.
Really,
And
really
like
bad.
What did he
I
do?
had to end the stream, and had to go back to it like a week later.
Yeah, you had to
Wait,
do
what?
a two-parter.
Oh, because it
Yeah.
took so long.
Well, no, what happened? Not even that. It's because halfway through the video, he starts like getting very meta with his commentary and talking about the phrase he uses is gameplay
Gameplay loop.
shaped lenses or something like that. Gameplay loop lenses or something. Where he's basically criticizing people who talk about gameplay loops in their videos, but
He
he's not
specifically
directly
talks
naming
about
anybody.
the phrase. He won't use the phrase gameplay
Yeah.
loop.
Does he give a
it's
reason
just-
why? Like a good reason?
No,
not a
it,
good
it's just
reason.
it's just
retarded.
dragged it
It's
out, and
ridiculous.
it was after like a pretty poor first half of the video that I was like, okay, this let me down, and I need to just stop, and I had to put it off for like a week and cover some other people's videos and come back to his.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've never heard the take, but I didn't even know there was people out there who thought gameplay loop was a thing that you disagree with in concept, if you know what I mean. But okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that either. There's a reason why it's a very popular and readily understood phrase that's very
Mhm.
useful to use with
Because a
people when
lot of
describing
designers
games.
use it.
Yeah,
it's good shit.
you can look at a gameplay loop in like a descriptive way in terms of when people play. Like if I'm reviewing a video game, then what I will do is I would probably be like, all right, what will the gameplay loop be? Not even what it is,
Mhm.
but what will it be if I was to recommend people to buy this game? What will they end up doing? And
I think
the
it
gameplay
would-
loop is going to describe how players engage with it based on its mechanics and its reward structures and things of that nature. It's really useful.
I think it was said of Halo 2 that the Halo is just like 30 seconds of fun repeated for the entire course of the game.
That's right. That you can if you can nail 30 seconds of fun, you can stretch that out to fill a game.
Like it's a standardized term. I don't know why you would hold a stigma against it, but yeah. So that's my experience with NeverKnowsBest.
Interesting.
Is a good Oblivion video and a bad Skyrim video.
Well, I feel nothing about him so far because I am a blank slate of history. I'm loving this video so far. There's nothing in it I don't
I'm
like.
very
and
positive on him because he said I
Mhm.
could have opinions.
That was
Good
honestly
faith,
the big
good
reason
faith.
why I'm going to subscribe. I'm just hoping nothing else tarnishes this video going forward. Looking forward to when he
I'm glad he
destroys
made
YouTube.
this video, even though he didn't want to.
Yes,
That's
it's a
where you
public
know.
service.
That's when you know
He's
someone has
fighting a good fight.
courage and bravery to be able to make something like a YouTube video when you don't even want to. That's when you earn a lot from me, I would say.
Every time I go to Wendy's and I buy their shit, terrible, awful, nasty food, I'm always glad when they say, you know what, I didn't want to make this burger when they hand it to me. I'm like, well, you know what, Trooper, thanks for doing it anyway.
Mhm.
What a Chad.
And if
Wendy
you are,
salutes
you might
you.
know that the last video I made was about bad games and how people react and talk about them.
I wonder if that video is cringe.
It probably
I have heard things
is.
about it.
Because like there is nothing about Gollum, its creation, the reaction to it that is anything but fucking deserved. That game is a disaster. And if he makes any point like this is cruel and it's done for amusement or something, it'd be like, you fucking bet it
I
is.
look at the transcript for it and see if you guys are named. But we can go on.
Oh, I doubt it, but yeah.
It was during the making of that video that I ended up noticing how discussions around Starfield were increasingly becoming centered on one single name. Emil Pagliarulo, a man thousands of people seemed to hate.
So pathetic. I swear to God.
Okay, so yeah, this is Emil's post on Twitter, which I'll be honest with you, any developer posted a 15 tweet long thing, I'd be like, uh-oh, like what's...
Well, the
What are they
context he
bitching
leaves
about?
out too was that Bethesda was in the news for responding directly to people's Steam reviews. So to have that going on, and then for one of the main developers to like come out with this big coping and seething session, of course this fucking attracted attention.
Yeah, because a lot of
absolutely.
devs, they do not interact with the community in that way. In fact, a lot of companies literally have people whose job it is to do this for the company.
God, some game developers? There's like this fucking strain of game developers.
Now, I'm not exactly new.
Oh,
to
what? You're
the-
not gonna let him finish?
I was gonna say,
I feel like that was the
okay,
middle of a sentence
fine.
you stopped there.
Well,
That's
see,
not very good
that
fact
gets into the
checking.
that gets into the fact checking thing. You're supposed to go to that Asmongold clip and get the full context for yourself. It's an ARG, okay?
Oh,
pretty
I
cool,
like that
actually.
nice interactive YouTube experience. It's like a choose your own adventure. I hope Indiana Jones survives this book.
discussions, and so this name was familiar to me. Emil is a design director at Bethesda Game Studios, who worked as a writer on Oblivion
He's credited as a designer.
before becoming the lead writer
Oh, the
on Fallout
Argonians
3,
used to look like shit.
Skyrim, Fallout
He was not a lead writer on Skyrim. He was just a senior quest designer.
4,
He was
and most
just
recently, Starfield.
Listen,
Man.
he wants us to fact check. I'm gonna fact check. These are how these people were credited.
So the big thing that's
Fair.
happening in meta with Bethesda right now is like people are just fucking bored of their style, right?
Yeah, they're certainly being called out as being dated.
Because man,
They were
just
always
watching-
dated, but they were like exclusive to a certain genre. Like they were the only person that offered anything that felt like Skyrim, but they're not that anymore. We have CD Projekt Red now, or we have people that
The
are
thing
going in
is-
deeper with like Baldur's Gate 3.
Because I'm a little out of the loop on them, right? I played the shit out of Fallout 3, and then that was that. I don't think I've jumped back into their stuff at all since then. And if you had told me what I'm looking at right now is a Fallout 3 mod, I'd be like, yeah, probably. And it's like, no, this came way out. You're like, oh.
No, do you see that?
Well,
planet?
okay.
You can go there.
What's interesting is the footage he's choosing to use is from the 2021 trailer. It doesn't look particularly good because this is just old gameplay. This is old
years
footage.
ago, yeah.
Yeah, this is not new stuff. You can see that with the UI. There's UI elements that aren't in the final product, like the name of
Yeah,
the
it
gun.
doesn't have that. It doesn't have that Bethesda polish in it yet.
The reason I already knew of Emil
Stop
is
that.
because he's long been mentioned by some people in the Bethesda fan community as an almost
So true.
boogeyman type figure who is responsible for many of the bad parts of these games.
More so in the Fallout community, but sound off.
We hate Boogeyman here. He's awful, right? We hate him.
Mhm.
Yeah, we sure
Boogie's,
do. He's full of bugs.
Don't like him.
Something I was never sure of, however, was when and how this animosity between Emil and the Fallout and Elder Scrolls community started.
I mean,
Probably
that's easy information to get.
Ah, yes,
Man,
but
I
he's
feel like
setting up his own
probably
adventure where he
You
just
probably
bad content, right?
You probably should have figured this out when you were covering Skyrim.
Now, even me not really knowing the finer details of this, I would assume it's something that slowly but surely piles up after a relatively long series of bad to mediocre content.
Well, and that's the point that he's going to make, is that it's just something that's built up over time.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, but that's like, that's
That's
pretty
normal.
natural if someone
That's
does
how
a
information
continuously bad
propagates.
job. Yeah.
And so, as I saw him being mercilessly ripped into on Twitter, in
Oh
YouTube
no!
comments,
Mercilessly.
Random people on the internet have said unkind things.
I'm getting the impression
about his product
I'm getting the impression here that he's like
that he's Emil's
he's
friend.
going to find out whether or not he deserves it. Like he's not against the action in and of itself. It's just got to make sure if he deserves it.
Which is
In a sense, yes.
I feel like the moral
Okay.
outrage is a bit misplaced. It's because it sounds, especially the way that he's running his narrative. He's like, everyone hates this guy. Is that true? And then he describes the event of seeing all this stuff happening as like malicious or cruel or over the top, whatever. And it's just like, yeah, but you'd be fine with it if he was actually like
He'd be
hyper
fine with it
responsible.
If he was actually an incompetent writer. Okay.
Yeah, it just feels
Listen.
weird.
I'm
Yeah.
wrong. They had a plan, and Starfield was still a mess despite that. That's why Starfield's not part of this this argument, because if it was, like, yeah, it's still a fucking mess. So who do we blame?
Is it
It's
bad
like
that you
statistics
say
on Islamic terror that began on September 12th, 2001.
Yeah.
you say that Starfield is a mess? I'm just sitting here like, yeah, of course it is.
I mean,
It's
everyone
just-
knows it. I haven't played it,
Yeah.
but I've seen enough videos on it to be like, Jesus fucking Christ.
What else would
happened?
it be?
They made mechs
Nailed.
illegal. What?
Yeah.
In big YouTube videos, and even in the gaming media, I became curious about where this conflict began.
Okay, so I kind of wish Theo were in chat because he would have fucking killed himself already with how long this takes just to get to.
Oh, nice thing to say.
the
Yeah,
stuff.
Theo. I wish Theo was here because he would have killed himself. It's an
It's-
interesting path.
I don't know why, but it became Theo's thing specifically of getting annoyed with people who take fucking ages just to start up their point. It's like, I get it. I know. Come on. You can do
Oh,
it.
And-
we're not to the 5 minutes of just uninterrupted presentation that we have to skip because it's not really relevant.
Don't worry as well. Theo has regenerative powers. That's why I said it would be funny.
What exactly Emil's original
That brain comes right back just to be pissed off again.
crimes were. The earliest anti-Emil remarks that are still around come from the old
The
school Fallout
earliest
forum.
anti-Emil remarks. It's like an archaeologist dusting off an Egyptian piece of pottery and looking at the inscription and being like, ah, yes.
Well, but
This is the first recorded instance of
if I were
anti-Emil sentiment in the Old Kingdom.
if I was his editor, I might be like, "Do you think maybe we should just skip to the part you want to talk about? You want the part you actually care about instead of I
no,
found
because
some...
then it would be obvious that he's ass hurt.
Yeah,
from No Mutants Allowed, a place once known for its users'
Based.
passionate dislike of Fallout 3 and Bethesda.
Hey, listen,
For
disliking
the more
Fallout 3
things
is normal.
change, the more things stay the same. I guess.
Yeah.
some background, Fallout 1 and 2 were developed by different studios, and after Bethesda acquired the Fallout license,
I had a friend who despised Fallout 3 because he loved Fallout 1 and 2. That's just how that goes, I guess.
All I'd ever back in the day was that everybody thought Fallout 3 was awesome. It was like the best game ever. That was all I'd
It's
heard at the time.
Yep.
It's very popular as a first dip into open world RPG styles of games.
Mhm.
But if
Kind
you're
of
a,
it was for me,
yeah, if you're just a Fallout fan, then they did not take it well at all.
Well, that's what H Bomber Guy's video is about, right? Like comparing to Fallout 1 and 2 for its depth and stuff.
Yeah.
Fuck, it's been so long since I've seen that video.
Same. But that's the one that he got responded to, and then that one got responded to.
Yeah,
by you,
that
right,
is the start of the
Creetosis?
rabbit hole.
Yep.
Oh,
The
fun rabbit
35-hour
holes.
rabbit hole.
Well, it's because I used to be like in memes for the rabbit hole thing. So it was Matthew Matosis to H Bomber Guy to me. So then a bunch of other people have responded to my videos. Just like
Mhm.
people still fighting over whether Dark Souls 2 is an utter piece of shit.
I
you
mean,
know?
that's just the nature of discourse, you know?
Yep.
Oh, what's the you've used an expression before. It's like it takes minutes to correct something that misinformation said in seconds or something akin to that.
Oh, there's
I
a
think
quote
that's-
for
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
it takes way
Brandolini's
longer.
Law.
A more crude way of saying it would just be compare the amount of time it takes to shit on the floor and clean up that shit on the floor. You know.
Yes, and I think that's why this video is so long. Because it's
seconds
intended to be
destroy,
daunting to
hours to
respond
create.
to. Yeah. He
Many
shit this
older-
out in a few weeks, and now we got to deal with it.
Well, yeah, we've gone over it so many
That
times.
was- he made this everyone's problem.
Someone can make one sentence, and there could be like 17 things wrong with what they just said. Like it gets complicated with stuff like that.
Fallout fans were concerned about the direction the series would take, and things like the move away from an isometric perspective. No Mutants Allowed was originally the place for these type. Emil's reputation there was pretty positive. This seems to be because he was one of the only Bethesda developers who actually addressed older fans' concerns during Fallout 3's development.
Okay.
People didn't always like the answers he gave, but they seemed to appreciate him. Quote, "It's still pretty awesome that a prominent Bethesda dev finally walks out of his shell to answer questions." Or,
Something I'm going to recommend is just pausing to read the posts because there is context he will leave out or like where they go on to say something that's contrary to what he's saying. This one looks fine.
Well,
now seriously,
the kind of my
This
issue
one's
with
the
this
bad
though
one.
is that he's doing what could be interpreted as Rags, would it be? What is there a reverse poison the well, or is it just poisoning the well? As in, like,
you can
like,
only
is there
put,
is there an expression for
so like
doing
if I
the
were
reverse of a
cleansing the
poison
well, so
like
to speak.
preemptively putting iodine tablets in there.
Yeah, like the idea, of course, that I'm getting at is that he's like, look how nice this guy is, look how awesome this guy is. Now let's get to what he said in the present that piss people off. It's like, well, wait, like, wait, I don't. How what he said previously on how nice he is isn't necessarily important to why people reacted the way they did to how he said things at present.
Well,
It's a
especially
smoke
when
shield.
this is from what, 2007? That's a long time
Yeah,
ago.
unless these comments inform something about what he's saying, but that's really not the point here, is it? It's more so, look at his
Yeah.
reputation, look how people
Well,
treated him. It's like,
I would pay attention to what he highlights and what he leaves out of his example with this one.
okay.
Those answers aren't bad. Those answers aren't bad. At least this guy actually makes sense when he talks.
Okay, this is the only part he's going to highlight.
But then
But the other part he leaves out is, but one thing pisses me off. Developers praising games that no one yet played except for them. We are making a wonderful game, etc. Shit drives me crazy. I wish someone would finally give sole facts and some honest overview on the game without making so much hype. So there is a but, and there is a criticism, but he's only highlighting the part where Emil is seen positively, just to make this point that, like, people didn't dislike Emil back then.
Mm-hmm.
Also, yes, the video skipped a little bit on my end. Hopefully that stops. But hey, Watch Together is not perfect, guys. I'm sorry.
Or, it's rather weird, but I like that interview because for once he was not trying to sell how awesome Fallout 3 was. He was being honest, and even if reality sucks, it's better than a lie.
How insignificant the changes brought to the gameplay were. I mean, it's just
From 3 to 2? It's a totally different system, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's pretty relevant when it comes to him coming to talk about Fallout 3, that he is there to shill.
Yeah.
Emil's reputation would change after the release of Fallout 3, and then it got worse with time as Fallout 3's success became clear and it started winning Game of the Year awards and such. During this time,
which means nothing. Forspoken was my Game of the Year last year. Game of the Year is just, you can just say whatever's Game of the Year and they have to count it in the vote.
Yeah, like how do you tally what, is it like there's a list of official Game of the Year,
So, yeah,
opinion havers, and you tally that? Or
back then, Game of the Year was an aggregate vote, and it was usually just journalistic outlets would list their Game of the Year, and then whoever got listed the most would win. The problem with that was games journalism was very young. A lot of these outlets were like literally your regional newspaper. It was just some guy assigned to talk about gaming news. And so Game of the Year for about a decade would just go to whatever game was most popular in the latter half of that year.
Well, all right then.
Emil, as lead writer and designer on the game, did a lot of interviews and publicity events.
And this is another thing. He points out his weight. In the like 3 years that I've been talking about Emil, I have never saw fit to talk about his weight or any of the other like intrinsic qualities that he can't control about himself. So I think it's very strange that he's going out of his way to like mention this.
I think he's saying it in the context of a compliment.
I get that, but
he used to be a fat boy, but now he's not. Good job. Which is a strange thing to bring up, but
why bring it up at all?
I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't put it in my video. And if you are, I feel like it's something that you want to verbalize so that you can have a particular tone in your voice that could sound congratulatory in an earnest way instead of making it text. Because
it just pisses me off because I go out of my way to not attack the intrinsic qualities of people, and then like here he is just like mentioning it offhandedly, and also I'm the bastard in this situation.
The only reason I could say that I might bring it up is that in case anyone thought that wasn't Emil, I'd be like, oh, he lost some weight, good on him, or something like that, and move on. But I understand
he's got red hair, he's got the same facial hair, like, you know.
Well, some people in chat thought it was Louis C.K., so, you know.
That's
talking about the game's reception and planned DLC, which brought plenty of continued attention. This situation was likely exaggerated.
Yeah, the DLC was rather controversial, to say the least.
Fallout 3, I think.
Yeah.
Wait, which one? The first one?
Multiple of them. Mothership Zeta and whichever one was the first one that retconned the ending.
Broken Steel.
Broken
Yeah.
Steel, Point Lookout, Mothership Zeta, and what was the fourth one?
Operation
Legit.
Anchorage.
Anchorage,
Operation
yeah.
There were
Right,
5.
yeah.
Oh, there were 5, damn. Because I remember controversially really liking Mothership Zeta. I thought it was so goofy and funny.
Yeah.
And then my friends were like, it was shit, though. And I was like, yeah, the whole fucking game is shit. I don't care.
It was completely in character. I think it is like it's a lot of people that are like turning switches in their brain to like Fallout 3 play Mothership Zeta, and they're like getting people's perspective on why the game sucks, and they're like, no, it's just the DLC that's bad. It's not Fallout 3.
Hmm. God,
I
that
don't
game
know.
was big, though.
Mothership Zeta feels like the perfect microcosm of Fallout 3 because it's a lot of shooting and no substance.
I remember being just like, what the fuck am I playing? Like, just running through killing the aliens that look so goofy, and just be like, yeah, whatever, I guess. Like, there was nothing binding it. There was no intention beyond just being like, look, you're on a fucking alien ship, you're shooting aliens, isn't that great? You're like, yeah, I guess so.
I don't know, yeah.
Likely exacerbated by the fact that Bethesda, Emil, and particularly the games media all seem to be acting like Fallout 3 was a great game, with interviews and awards that were celebratory in nature.
Hey, but that's okay because
Celebratory?
it's their opinions.
That's true.
Hmm.
Let them have their opinions.
Ooh, that would be curious, wouldn't it? Would he be okay with everyone saying, like, sending messages to a single account saying you should be promoted, you should be the CEO? You should. I assume that would be okay.
For a false reason, he should be.
Yeah,
not-
even if it was
he
a
should
false
dislike
reason.
it.
All while No Mutants Allowed considered Fallout 3 to be a relatively bad game and something of a betrayal of the series, with the writing in particular being scrutinized for inconsistencies with the original lore, as well as problems with Fallout 3's ending.
Where's the highlighting? We need the highlighting.
Okay, so interview with Emil and Short. Emil, we like holes in the main plot, and we decided to use Fallout franchise for our ideas with coolness without taking a second thought about them. What? What kind of quote is that? We like holes in the main plot.
Listen, that's entirely in character for him. That is shit that Emil would say.
Well, wait, look at that second
Or is
line,
that
though.
paraphrasing by the commenter?
I was about to say, yeah, we don't give a damn. We like. So they're saying that this is how it comes across to them.
Oh.